Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Northeast Diary. Here, we bring you the latest developments from India's unexplored Northeast region. Today, we are going to talk about a woman rider who travels throughout the country sending tributes to soldiers and their widows. But first, let us take a look at how the International Day of Yoga was celebrated in parts of the Northeast.
Yoga mein aanand hai, yoga mahima anant hai. Aao yog kare, chalo yog kare.
The International Day of Yoga is celebrated on 21st of June globally. The idea of Yoga Day was first proposed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2014. The next year, on 21st June, the first International Day of Yoga was celebrated. This year, the physical observance of the day was held at 75 heritage and iconic sites in the country. Here is a report from our Agartala correspondent on the observance of the day.
Yoga Day is celebrated across the globe to highlight the importance of yoga and its role in keeping the body and mind in perfect health. Practicing different asanas and pranayama calms the mind by allaying one's fears and anxiety. The significance of Yoga Day should be seen in the light of spreading awareness on the issue of mental and physical well-being. International Day of Yoga also aims to inculcate a habit of meditation for peace of mind and self-awareness, which is necessary to survive in a stress-free environment.
योगा ही जीवन का एक आधार है, योगा ही जीवन का एक आधार है.
This year, the day has been celebrated under the theme Yoga for Humanity. Like other parts of the globe, in Tripura, the day was observed all across the state, organized at different schools, colleges, offices and parks, as well as at important historic tourist spots. While the main program was organized at Tripura's iconic historical Nirmahal Palace, which was among the 75 selected iconic sites in the country. The Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment, Srimati Pratima Bhaumik, along with hundreds of yoga and sports enthusiasts, joined the yoga session led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Speaking on the occasion, Srimati Bhaumik said that with the initiative of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, now the whole world has adopted yoga, which is a matter of pride as an Indian. She also appealed to the people to practice yoga as a daily-based form of exercise for mental and physical fitness. For Northeast Diary, this is Reena Nomaitham from Agartala.
Nagaland joined the world in celebrating the International Day of Yoga 2022 on the 21st of this month. Several programs were organized across the districts of the state under the theme Yoga for Humanity. Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs, Kaushal Kishore, led the International Day of Yoga state-level program at the iconic place of Naga Heritage Kisama in Kohima. A report.
Braving the rain, people from all walks of life enthusiastically participated in the celebration of International Day of Yoga 2022 at Naga Heritage Kisama in Kohima. Union Minister of State, Housing and Urban Affairs, Mr. Kaushal Kishore, who led the occasion, termed yoga as an insurance of life.
योग करने से शारीरिक क्षमता बढ़ती है, मानसिक मजबूती बढ़ती है, मेंटल स्टेटस हमारा हाई होता है, शांति मिलती है, तमाम प्रकार के विभिन्न रोग, चाहे वो अस्थमा हो, कैंसर हो, बीपी का पेशेंट हो, शुगर का पेशेंट हो, उनको योग करने से छुटकारा मिलता है.
सुनो भारत के तुम वासी, योग हमें अब करना. सुनो भारत के तुम वासी, योग हमें अब करना. भारत के ऋषियों को अब याद तुम करना, अब याद तुम करना.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने पूरी दुनिया में योग को ले जाने का काम किया। मैं आपसे बताना चाहता हूं कि योग करिए, निरोग रहिए। योगा से लोगों को जोड़िए। योगा आध्यात्मिक रूप से आपको जोड़ता है। मेडिटेशन करने से आपको शांति मिलेगी। जब हमारा दिल शांत होता है, हम शारीरिक रूप से, मानसिक रूप से स्वस्थ होते हैं, तो करप्शन भी कम होता है, क्राइम भी कम होता है, क्योंकि हमारी सोच बदलती है। और इसलिए हमको हिंदुस्तान के साथ साथ पूरी दुनिया को क्राइमलेस कंट्री, क्राइमलेस वर्ल्ड बनाना है। और इसका एक ही मात्र साधन है, सिर्फ योगा।
Yog Sankalp was also administered to the participants. For Northeast Diary, this is Asunyo from AIR News, Kohima.
You are listening to our program Northeast Diary, bringing you enchanting stories from the northeastern part of India. This program is broadcast every Thursday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on FM Gold and on our app News on AIR. We look forward to you walking this journey with us twice a week, every week.
Sikkim's only government-owned tea brand, Timmy Tea, recently launched chocolates as part of its expansion and diversification. More from our Sikkim correspondent.
Sikkim Commerce and Industries Minister B.S. Pant launched 2 varieties of chocolates, milk chocolate and dark chocolate with fruits and nuts. Under the Timmy Platter brand, Mr. Pant appreciated the initiative as a strategic decision that will drive Timmy's tea market expansion and revenue targets, as well as provide employment to local people. Managing Director of Timmy Tea, M. Ravi Kumar, speaks about the initiative and other plans that aim to involve local people for increasing the brand's product range.
The main objective of launching this dark chocolate and white chocolate, we want to generate additional revenue for Timothy Estate, as well as want to generate additional employment to the local public. So, local people can be engaged for all these products. Not only the chocolate, maybe for the potato processing, ginger processing and cardamom processing that we are going to start very soon, so that this product range will benefit this local public by giving more employment to the local public. Mostly we are targeting around 50 to 100 people for this product range, so that we can give maximum of 100 people the employment. The target market is mostly the domestic market, and once we increase the production, we can go for national as well as international market. And near future, we are planning to diversify in cardamom, potato, ginger, and other products also like fruits and vegetables, so that we can increase product range as well as we can give more employment. And the commercial target is mostly from 50 lakh to 1 crore in the first year. Later on, we can increase this target. So this will definitely help Timothy Estate getting additional revenue as well as giving additional employment for the local public.
Packaging of Timmy Platter chocolates is done with low waste and low energy machinery to minimize environmental impact. Going forward, Timmy Tea aims to introduce more high demand confectionery products. With Saikia Sarkar, this is Tashong Mobutia for Northeast Diary from AIR News, Sikkim.
With the dream of riding the length and breadth of the country, solo rider Ambika Krishna started on her motorcycle on the 11th of April from Kochi. Having travelled nearly 6,000 kilometers so far, she stopped at Shillong recently. Here is a story of her extraordinary journey of independence, confidence and determination.
Inspired by the radio program Sundays to a Soldier, where people send their wishes and greetings to soldiers guarding the borders through radio, Ambika Krishna, a 44-year-old from Kochi, Kerala, began her solo bike ride as a tribute to soldiers and their widows. Armed with a motorcycle, courage and determination, Ambika made her way to Shillong. A widow herself, she lost her husband, an Indian Air Force officer, when she was only 19 years old. She was pursuing her bachelor's degree at the time when tragedy struck her and had a 3-month-old daughter to care for. Through this solo trip that connects all of the 25 All India Radio Rainbow stations throughout the country, Ambika aims to motivate others like her.
Once I got the idea that, and I heard the program from Delhi, All India Radio, Sandesh to Soldiers, a messaging program from the soldiers and radio. In my life also, I'm a soldier's widow. And I started this solo expedition with the idea of Sandesh to Soldiers, connection with the soldiers and radio. In my life, there is connection with soldiers, and with my profession, I'm a radio jockey too. So with this idea, I compiled the solo expedition with tributing to soldiers and their widows. This is the idea behind this expedition. Northeast is the only place, most important place in this solo ride. As we all know that from Kolkata to Shillong, it is 1126 kilometers. So I divided into 5 places: Malda, Siliguri, Bangaigong, Gauhati, then Shillong. Likewise, with the injury also, I scheduled like that and I came. God grace, there was no heavy rainfall and I reached this beautiful place and I am enjoying really Shillong, Meghalaya.
Even though her initial plans of covering the entire country in 47 days was derailed by an injury, she refused to back down from her goals of spreading energy, cheer and encouragement. She intends to make her way to North India via Patna. With steely nerves and unquestionable mettle, Ambika Krishna continues blazing a path of inspiration and joy. This is Rustam for Northeast Diary from AIR News Shillong.
In Assam, Dibrugarh MLA Prashant Phukan has urged Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav to completely shut down the old Dibrugarh Town Railway Station and divert all trains to the new Dibrugarh Railway Station situated on the outskirts of the town at Banipur. Let's hear why such an interesting request was made.
Dibrugarh MLA Prashant Phukan has urged Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav to completely shut down the old Dibrugarh Town Railway Station and divert all trains to new Dibrugarh Railway Station situated on the outskirts of the town at Banipur. In a recent letter addressed to Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, the Dibrugarh MLA said, "A railway line is undoubtedly a lifeline for the development of any region. However, the existing railway track of Dibrugarh Town Railway Station is one of the major obstructions of the development of Dibrugarh town. The railway track has divided Dibrugarh into 2 parts, southern parts and northern part. Apart from causing serious traffic congestion in the town, the railway track has limited the widening of road running parallel to the railway track. A number of educational institutions like Sampurna Kendriya Vidyalaya, St. Mary School, Little Flower School, MDKG Girls College, DHSK College, DHSK Commerce College, as well as Dibrugarh Catholic Church and the State Bank of India Gabru Pathar branch are located on the Kesi Gogoi Road, which runs parallel to the railway track inside the town. The railway track has limited the width of the Kesi Gogoi Road to just 5 meters, causing constant traffic jams on the busy road. So, in view of these facts, he requested the minister to kindly consider closing down the Dibrugarh Town Railway Station and divert all trains to new Dibrugarh Railway Station at Banipur for the greater convenience of the public." The Dibrugarh Town Railway Station, built in 1882, is the oldest railway station in northeastern India. Hence, MLA further asked the railway minister to convert the old Dibrugarh Railway Station into a railway museum cum heritage complex, considering its heritage value.
An awareness program on cyber safety and national security was organized by Dibrugarh District Police recently. More from our correspondent.
In consistence with Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav at Lalchand Kanai Memorial Auditorium of Dibrugarh, the Superintendent of Police Setanka Mishra said that the day-by-day increasing cybercrime is adversely affecting our society. The program was organized in collaboration with Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the College, Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center of Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Culture, Government of India. He further said that cybercrime is spreading in the society at such a rate that it would create a dangerous situation for the future generation, and this kind of awareness program is a way of developing knowledge among the youths on issues related to cybercrime. Being as Chief Guest, Deputy Commissioner of Dibrugarh Biswajit Pegu also appreciated the efforts of Dibrugarh District Police and also thanked the authority of Hanumanbog Surajbal Kanoi College for their cooperation for that wonderful effort. He also briefly talked about the means of eradicating cybercrime from society along with inaugurating an awareness song on cybercrime. Resource person Dr. Gunadip Chetia, programmer of Dibrugarh University, explained in detail the various ways and means by which the cyber criminals cheat the common people and safety measures one should take to avoid being hacked. For Northeast Diary, this is Pranab Kumar Nath from Dibrugarh.
This week's personality is a music instructor who is doing pioneering work to revive the past glory of Mizoram's traditional musical instruments. Our correspondent from Aizawl, speaks to Mr. Zothan Moya about his work. Talking to him is Vanlal Ruata from Aizawl.
From time immemorial, the Mizo people have been using different musical instruments. The traditional musical instruments are very simple and look very outdated to modern musical instruments. However, these instruments still can amaze people, but they are rarely found and so are hardly practiced. Yet, as hearsay goes, there is always a silver lining on a dark cloud. Similarly, Mr. Zoltan Moy of Aizawl has emerged as a savior in the domain of Mizo traditional instruments. He has been working on this for long years. He has been working in conservation of these instruments, imparting teaching to play these instruments and also in manufacturing of these instruments, so that they would not get lost from society forever. Today, Mr. Zoltan Moy is with us here to share his experience and expertise. On behalf of our listeners, we welcome you, Zoltan Moya.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Sir, you have been practicing Mizo traditional music for a long time. How did you learn to play traditional music? When did you start?
I did not have any formal training in traditional as such. In the year 2000, with me being a young man learning my trade in Western music, I began putting together my knowledge of the traditional and my interest in folk music. This took me to playing the flute and other folk musical instruments as well.
How long have you been actively playing the traditional Mizo music and instruments?
I have been actively playing the traditional music from the year 2005. My big break came in 2009 at Mizoram Talent Show, organized by Zonet Cable TV. There I played traditional flute and won the first prize. So till today I have been playing and teaching traditional music.
You are working as a music instructor and music is your passion. Can you enlighten us to how you bring these instruments to life and the problems you may have faced along the way?
Yes, I think it's safe to say music is my passion. The thing with traditional music, be it the playing or making of instruments, is that it is from the past. We have not seen or heard them being played firsthand. Making and doing all this is hard work, very time consuming with a huge chance of failure. I have spent the best of 10 years doing this.
Please describe some interesting features and types of traditional music, Mizo music.
Mizo traditional music can be classified into three categories: percussion instruments, wind instruments, and string instruments. The more common percussion instruments are different types of dar, khuang, seki, tal khuang, and bengbung. Wind instruments would include rochem, penglong, tumpit, mau totorot, buchang kuang, and natum. String instruments are burting trong, tui umdar, and lemloi. This is bengbung. And let me play lemloi. This is penglong.
Are all those instruments still being used?
These instruments are not as commonly used as I would want them to be because there are not many people who know how to play them.
Can you please tell us the particular occasions in Mizo culture where people play and listen to this type of traditional music?
In times that include the participation of the whole community, like Chongchen, Huang Choi, the three major Mizo festivals, Ralulam and Salulam, celebration of victory against enemies and of killing wild animals. Until today, in the performance of our traditional dance, instruments like the khuang, dar, and tumpit are used. Mizo shamans use rochem in their incantation during ceremonies. The rest are used personally, as we Mizo are quite emotional and often sing or play music to fit our nostalgia.
Given the popularity of Western and modern musical instruments, how important are the traditional musical instruments at present? What, in your opinion, are the emotional impacts of traditional music and instruments?
Even though Western music has deeply rooted itself in our musical taste today, the importance of traditional music cannot be overstated. The musical scale of our traditional instrument is also very different from Western music. The unique scale, when merged with the major scale, diatonic scale of Western music, produce a brand new and very emotionally touching music that is very pleasant to the Mizo ear.
What has basically driven you to work for revival or conservation of the Mizo traditional musical instruments? Actually, what are you doing to conserve the traditional musical instruments?
Over the course of my exploration, I realized that we, the Mizo, have a plethora of musical instruments that our foreparents played without feeling and need to import an instrument of musical style from outside. In a way, they were self-sufficient in music. This made me think of the various style of music we have imported from outside and that have clung to our very bones that we even forget we have such rich in abundance already. I feel that we owe it to our ancestors to keep their musical heritage alive. As such, I bring them out of Sunday schools, in different seminars and workshops, and in different schools, teaching about them and playing them. Seeing the work I have done, the government signed me up as an instructor for folk music under the IMFA, Art and Culture Department, where I am working till today.
Are you also on a mission that this tradition will pass on to the young generations? If so, how do you do that?
Yes, as a traditional music instructor, I feel that it is my duty to pass on our musical heritage to the younger generation, and I have not shirked this duty till today. As I mentioned earlier, visiting and giving lectures on different kind of seminars and workshops in schools and even Sunday schools. However, being just one man with many limitations, the little that I do has not had the effects I envisioned.
Do you have anything else you would like to add, sir?
Our traditional music is sadly meeting a slow and painful death. And on that note, I would like to add that we owe it to our ancestors to try and revive them. This is an enormous task, and it requires the strength of all the Mizo people. It would be just a waste of time and money if the instructor have no students to teach and pass on our expertise. I feel that the various NGOs and churches have an important part to play in this regard, because they are the prophetic voices that can turn heads at will. If they can play their parts in this regard, I am very optimistic that traditional Mizo music would live on and even be perfected in our lifetime.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
I'm so glad for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
For Northeast Diary, this is Vanal Rota from Aizo.
Northeast Diary program, broadcast every Thursday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m., brings very interesting and enchanting stories from the 8 Indian states of Northeast India. Don't forget to tune in.
Most of us start our daily activities with a cup of tea, and it is one of the most cheapest drinks that one can try. India is one of the major exporters of tea in the world. Nowadays, tea is made from different herbs and fruits is also available, and these tea also have many health benefits. In Manipur, a Gangte family grew up in Churachandpur district and collected wild tea leaves from the nearby forest and produced a special tea under the brand name of Forest Pick. This tea has become so popular that Gangte siblings export this tea outside the state. Let's know more from our Imphal correspondent.
Manipur state lies in the northeastern part of India, is surrounded by mountains. These mountains hold thousands and thousands of tea trees that are located near many villages. Tea has grown wild in this region for centuries and it is an ancient plant. The tea species Camellia assamica has grown in Manipur for a long time. The villagers drank wild tea in place of water. People call it Think tea or Grand tea. Once used by locals, it has now found customers outside the state. The Gangte sisters, Aujuli, Jamse and Julie, with the support from their brother Boylan, founded Forest Peak about 2 years ago. They, along with their workers, harvest wild tea leaves from the mountains and prepare wild tea. Tea is processed in the orthodox style and they founded Forest Peak. They also launched a website in 2018 selling their new brand of smoked black orthodox tea and other varieties. Speaking to AIR News Northeast Diary, Mr. Boylan Gangte, founder of Forest Peak, said that the initiative on making wild tea has been able to improve the economic conditions of tribal communities who are involved in the wild tea. He said,
"This was somewhere towards the end of 2016. I went to Darjeeling for some official trip. We visited a tea garden and which was growing in a very, very hilly area. And that kind of connect me back to the wild tea which are there in the southern part of Manipur in the hill area. And it made me curious. So I told my three sisters along with my mom, and also I have some friends who are in the tea industry. He helped us. The first step is that someone has to go and pluck the tea leaves. After you pluck it, you wither it. And after that, fry it or steam it or blanch it with hot water. And then after that, you roll it. Then you dry it. Then you sort it. And then after that, you pack. See, our objective is that we are a commercial entity, which is fine. We will be a profit-making organization. But at the same time, we want to shift people from current occupation of slash and burn to this wild tea making. Because wild tea is generating more income. In wild tea, you don't cut down the forest. You just pluck the tea leaves. It is helping the environment as well.
The Forest Peak has now 2 workplaces in Churachandpur district for production of wild tea. The area where tea trees are grown is identified and workers collect the leaves. The harvesting period started from March end or early April depending on the arrival of monsoon and continue for 8 months. The harvesting is done 2 times in a month on the same tree. Therefore, it is economically viable. JJ Toksong from Imphal, AIR News, Northeast Diary.
And now, let us listen to this melodious traditional song from Nagaland. With that, we have come to the end of this edition of Northeast Diary. Do join us next week to hear more stories from this enchanting part of India. This program was presented by Ramya, scripted by Suparna, Saikia, produced by Sharmila Goswami and assisted by Kamlesh Mudgal. It was brought to you by the News Services Division of All India Radio. Bye-bye, take care and have a great weekend ahead.